Hello, hi dear students. Welcome to the today's class. Today we are going to have geography section in that very interesting chapter, the Earth our living planet. Today's chapter name is The Earth our living planet. It is very interesting chapter and it is very familiar to us because we are living on the planet Earth. Before getting into the chapter, let me ask you some general questions. Dear student, we are living in which planet? Yes, you are correct. We are living in the planet called Earth. It is the fifth largest planet in our solar system, and it is the third planet from our sun. Come on, dear students, let us study briefly on our planet Earth. In this chapter, we mainly learning about few points of Earth, that is, different names of the Earth, the size of the Earth and distribution of water on it, continents and oceans of the world, latitudes and longitudes, local time, standard time, and international deadline, oceans and constituents on the world map. As I already told that Earth is the third planet from the Earth, which means for in a solar system, it has each planet has their particular place, and Earth is the third. Earth ranks third place in the solar system. Our Earth is called by many names. Some of them are living planet, unique planet, watery planet, blue planet. What are the different names of Earth? Living planet, unique planet, watery planet, blue planet. Now let's move on to the size of the Earth. The distribution of land and water bodies. The Earth is the fifth largest planet in the Sun's family. Earth is the fifth largest planet in the Sun's body, which means that Jupiter is the first largest. Fifth largest is our Earth. The diameter of the Earth is approximately 4 times greater than the Moon, and it is around 107 times less than the Sun. You see in the photographic, you can see that diameter of the Moon is greater than the diameter. The diameter of the Earth is approximately 4 times greater than the Sun. Andre our planet Earth is 4 times, ಅಂದರೆ 4 ಪಟ್ಟು ಅಧಿಕ ಮೂನ್ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸೈಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. The total geographical area of the Earth is 510 million square kilometer. Earth has unequal distribution of land and water. As we can see that blue indicates, you can see on the screen that the blue color is what? Yes, the blue color is water and the greenish color is the land. So Earth is a combination of land and water bodies. So the Earth has unequal distribution of land and water. The ratio between land and water body is 1:2.43. It is the ratio between land. The blue color is what? Water, and green color is land. The Earth shape is often described as geoid, which literally means earth shaped or oblate spheroid. The earth shape is often described as geoid. ಈ ಅರ್ತ್ ಶೇಪನ್ನು ನಾವು ಜಿಯಾಯ್ಡ್ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥವೇನೆಂದರೆ ಲಿಟಲ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಆರ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಶೇಪ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಒಬ್ಲೇಟ್ ಸ್ಪಿರಾಯ್ಡ್. The earth is flattened at the poles and bulged at the equator. So you can see the red dotted line, right? It is slightly flattened in that the equator. That dotted line is called as equator. It is slightly bulged, right? Which means curved. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಾಗಿದೆ, ಕೊಂಚ ಬಾಗಿದೆ ಥರ ಕಾಣ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ. It is a bulge at the equator, and at the poles it is long. The equatorial diameter of the Earth is 12,756 km, and polar diameter is 12,714 km. The difference of 42 km in the diameter is the proof of regarding the geoid shape of the Earth. Obliquely, Earth is geoid in shape. The reason behind is, see, in the top it is round in shape, and near the equator is slightly bulged. So it is the proof for this that Earth is geoid in shape. I hope that all have understood why I am asking you the question, why the Earth is Why Earth is termed as geoid in shape? Because it is flattened at pole and bulged at equator. Now let's move on to the continents. As you all know that how many continents are there? Yes, you are right. There are 7 continents. Come, let us study briefly about it. The land bodies of the earth are known as continents. What is continent? The land bodies of the earth are known as continents. There are 7 continents, namely Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia. The continents are land masses of large size. Asia is the largest continent in the world, while Australia is the smallest continent. We are living in which continent? Yes, Asia is our continent. It is the largest continent among the 7, and the Australia is the smallest continent. What is continent? The land bodies of earth are known as continent. ಭೂಮಿ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಂಟಿನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ. The land bodies of the earth are called continents. There are 7 continents in the world. There are 7 continents in the world: Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏಷ್ಯಾ is the largest continent and Australia is the smallest continent. Which is the largest continent? Yes, Asia, and the smallest, Australia. Now let's move on to the next, oceans. Yes, we have already learned that what is continent. ಭೂಮಿ ಸಹಿತವಾದ ಜಾಗವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಾಂಟಿನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಈ ಓಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಎಸ್, ದ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಫೆಮಿಲಿಯರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲರ್. The large water bodies on the earth are called oceans. The large land bodies are called continents, and the large water bodies, ನೀರಿನ ಒಮ್ಮಗಮ ಇರುವ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸ್ಥಳವನ್ನು ಓಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ. As we already discussed that what is oceans, now let us see out 4 major oceans in the world. They are Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean. What are the 4 major oceans in the world? Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean. The Pacific is the largest and the deepest ocean, whereas Arctic is the smallest and shallowest ocean. The land and water bodies are unevenly distributed the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Distributed as northern and southern hemisphere. The northern hemisphere has 60% of land and 40% of water, therefore it is called as land hemisphere. And as I already told, that green indicates the land. Northern hemisphere has most 60% of land and 40% of water, so it is called as land hemisphere. Whereas in southern hemisphere it has 81% of water and only 19% of land in southern part, so it is called as a water hemisphere. Why it is called as water hemisphere? It means that it has 81% of water and only 19% of land, so it is called as water hemisphere. It has more water content and it is called water hemisphere. As I already told that the blue indicates, yes, water. Now let's move on to the latitudes and longitudes. What is globe? It is an artificial structure to learn about the earth, right? Let's see. The earth is spherical in shape. As you all know that it is sphere means round, circle. It is in spherical in shape. You can observe on the screen, right? It is the artificial structure of the earth, which means globe. Therefore it is difficult to locate the places, the direction, and calculate distance between the places. In order to understand the relationship between different places on earth and their exact location, we have to understand their position. To know the position and direction of the earth, network of the lines are drawn on the globe. Yes, you can see that. You may thinking that what these lines are. Yes, let's discuss what these lines are. These are known as lines of latitudes and longitudes. The horizontal lines are called as longitudes. Latitudes and vertical lines are called longitudes. See, the horizontal lines are called as a latitude and the vertical lines are called longitude. These lines intersect each other at right angles, create a network called grid. They intersect each other at 90 degree. Now you got an idea. See, these lines are called latitudes and longitude. The middle one, 0 degree, see, you can observe on the screen, it is called equator. The globe has two parts, north pole and south pole. You can see, right? It forms a top line. It's called prime meridian. See on the left side, right side of your picture. Longitude is a vertical and horizontal lines are called as latitude. See on the left side of your line, the straight lines are called as latitudes and the cross line which goes through the vertical are called as longitude. This both latitude and longitude intersect each other at 90 degree angle. You can observe on the screen, right? And it form a small grids. These are called as graticule. Dear students, come on, let's study briefly about latitude. Latitude is an imaginary line which joins all the places which have same angular distance north or south of the equator. See, latitude, it is a horizon. It is which line? Yes, it is an horizontal line. It is an imaginary line which joins all the places, which means the tip places, that is north and south, same angular distance. See that you can see the line side. Is there any variation? No. See, all with the same angular inches they can be found. The equator 0 degree is the longest line. See, 0 degree you can see, right, in the left side of your screen. 0 degree, the dotted line, equator. It is the longest line of the latitude known as great circle. What is known as great circle? The equator 0 degree is known as great circle. It is equal to the circumference of the earth. Other lines of latitudes are shorter lengths. There are many other lines. They are shorter length than the equator. The length of the line decreases with the distance from the equator. All the latitudes are circles and parallels to the equator. All latitudes, see, all are circles and parallel. You can observe on the screen clearly. There are 90 degree of latitudes on each side of the equator. 90 degree of the north and south are points including equator. Totally are 181 latitudes on the globe. The ground distance between 2 degrees of latitude is 104 km. There are totally 108 and 181 latitudes on the globe, that is 90 degree on the north side and 90 on the south, and 90 plus 90 you get 180. And there is a confusion that why there is 181 and the equator also includes, that is 181. The longest distance of the latitude is 110.4 kilometer is the length of the latitude. Latitude. I hope that all have understood what is latitude. It is an imaginary line. Now let's see about important latitudes. 0 latitude, it is equator or the great circle. You can see that is middle of that equator, red color, that is 0 degree and it's called great circle. 23 and a half north latitude, that is called tropic of Cancer, the second down of equator. 23 and a half degree south latitude, that is tropic of Capricorn. You can see that down of the equator. And 66 and a half north latitude, Arctic circle at the top of the north, and 66 and a half south latitude, that is Antarctic circle, which is top bottom, and 90 degrees north is, and 16 south latitude is Antarctic circle, 60 is the north latitude Arctic circle, 90 degrees the north pole and 90 degrees the south pole. Hope that all have understood what is latitude. Once again, we can look out of the what is latitude. What is latitude? It is an imaginary line which joins all the places with the same angular distance north or south of the equator. Imaginary line which joins all the places, with same angular distance north or south. The equator is the longest line of the latitude. Remember, equator is the longest line of the latitude and known as great circle. There are 90 degrees of latitudes on each side, north 90 degree and south 90 degree, including equator. Total 181 latitudes on the globe. The distance between the degrees of the latitude is 110.4 kilometer, which means the distance between between each latitude is 110.4 kilometer. 0 latitude is called equator. 23 and a north latitude is called tropic of Cancer. 23 and a half south latitude is called tropic of Capricorn. 66 and a half north latitude is called Arctic Circle. 66 and a half south latitude is called Antarctic Circle. Now moving to the longitude. Dear students, we have already completed latitude. Now let's move on to the another part, longitude. The imaginary line that intersect equator at right angle joining the only north and south are called longitude. In above we studied that latitude is an imaginary line which joins all the places of the equator. But here longitude is an imaginary line that intersect equator at right angle, which means at 90 degree, and only joining the north and south pole. I hope that all are clear. In longitude, it joins only south and north pole. On the globe, longitudes are shown as series of semicircle. Yes, right? You can observe on the screen. It is shown in a semicircle way. Run from pole to pole, passing through an equator. It just run from pole to pole, which means south pole to north pole. Through the equator, it all just passes through the equator. All lines of the longitude are equal length. All lines of the longitude have equal length. They don't have different lengths. All have equal amount of length. Lines of longitude are called meridians. Meri means mid and dian means day, which means midday, because all places along the same meridian of longitude experience noon or midday at the same time. And the lines of the longitude are called meridian which means midday or new time, because all the lines of the longitude, when it comes to the actual point, it faces noon or afternoon, so it is called as a meridian. The meridian passing through the Greenwich, England has been chosen as prime meridian. There are totally how many longitude? 360, 180 to the east and 180 to the west. The zone between the prime meridian and 180 east longitude is called eastern hemisphere. The opposite zone is called western hemisphere. The 180 east is called as eastern hemisphere. The 180 to the west is called western hemisphere. The distance between two consecutive longitude decrease gradually with the distance from the equator. In latitudes they increase gradually, but in the case of longitude they decrease from one longitude to another longitude. This is because the meridians of the longitude converge at two poles. Yes, right. And they decrease. The reason behind is they converge at two poles, which means they intersect at two poles, that is in North Pole and also in South Pole. On the equator, the distance between the two consecutive meridians, that is 111 kilometers. Now let's differentiate between latitude and longitude. Latitude is an imaginary line which joins all the places with the same angular distance, whereas longitude, it is also an imaginary line that intersects equator at a right angle and joins only north and south. The equator 0 degree is the longest line of the latitude and also known as Great Circle. And Greenwich is chosen as prime meridian. It is marked 0 degree longitude. There are 90 degree of latitudes on each side of the equator, 90 to the north and 90 to the south. Including equator, there are 181 latitudes. In longitude, there are 180 longitude to the east and 180 latitude to the west. Totally, there are 360 longitudes. They increase gradually, varying from one latitude to another. In the case of a longitude, they decrease, varying from one longitude to another. The ground distance between the 2 degrees of latitude is 100. The latitude is 110.4 kilometers, whereas in longitude it is 111 kilometers. Hope that all have understood the difference between the latitude and longitude. Dear students, here we conclude our geography part. The chapter Our Earth, Our Living Planet. Hope that all have understood what I have done in my class. Mainly focus on what I have told. If you have any clarification or doubt, never hesitate to call me and clarify all your doubts. Wish you a good day. Thank you.